I've been trying to think of a way to make 15-minute cards so that they're quick for Christmas, but also that I can really like. So this is my attempt. Let's see how it goes. I'm putting tape around this. I'm using 1/4-inch tape. And as always, everything can be found in the comments. The first thing we're going to do is cut out a pattern that we can use over and over again. And I'm going to make a simple tree. And I want it to be about this big, so there's room for a star and maybe a little bit of a thing at the bottom. And I want it to have some curves, some curvy branch things. I like the curvy branch things better than pointy ones because they're easier to paint, they're easier to cut out, and they look a little bit more graceful. Before we call that done, let's just see how this size works out. Oh, I think that'll be great. Now you can either use this pattern and trace around it, or you can use this pattern and trace around it. This is coming out. My corners all got bent, so I'm having to make it up there. And then I'm going to draw on a Christmas tree. The first thing I'm going to do is paint the background. And I want there to be light right here, so we'll start with that. And I'm just going to let this yellow go over the tree. Since the tree is going to be green, it won't really hurt it. Bring this on down. I'm using a quill brush. This is a number 2 Da Vinci Casaneo. They are very handy little brushes to have. I'm going to lift a little bit there. I want a lighter area for that star. And down at the bottom, I'm going to go with indigo. It's really dark, so be careful. You know, you can keep fussing and fussing with that variegated part, but we want these to be short cards. And I forgot to time this. Now we need that to completely dry before we can do the tree. So I'm going to set it aside and go on to the next one. This one's going to be a Christmas ball. I think that'll be a good one for there. I don't want to go so dark this time. So I'm trying to press lighter with my pencil. There we go. And I'm going to draw the little thing on top. And doing the background again. I just like having a glow, so I'm starting with the same colors. And I'm not worrying about going over this again. But at the bottom of this one, I think I'll go into some reds. And I'm going to come up this way. And again, I'm going to make the ball red, so I'm not worried about this going over there. But I will blend it together in here a little bit. I'm just going to lift some of this. I want this to blend. Okay, we're going to cut out a pot, and I want it to be about this tall. I'm making straight lines, not curvy lines, because I don't want to worry about the curves in a pot. Well, that got to be a very wide pot, so let's just trim it down a little bit. I think I'm going to just make it a more simple pot too, with a narrower top. I kind of like that better. And you know, a lot of you won't need a pattern for this. You can just draw this. It does make it easier to get your sides the same though. And again, we're going to do the background the same. And I just can't help myself but wanting some kind of a a glow in here. So if it's not quite dry, then don't move on to the next step. Get your hairdryer out and see if you can get it all the way dry. Now we're gonna get this whole thing wet. And I'm trying to go inside the lines, but you know, you don't have to be too paranoid about it. I'm not putting it on that pot. And then we're gonna get some good dark green. I'm taking hookers, mixing it with some phthalo so that it has that Christmassy color green. And I'm just going to let this run into the painting, into the water, and put some streaky areas there, and just let it run all around. If you have it really puddly wet, it'll immediately go to those edges, but you won't have as much variegation in your pattern. So that part you can just experiment with and come on a plan that you like. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. Going to get it all wet in here. And then down here at the bottom where it's already wet, I'm going to put my darkest color, be this room. And if it looks like you got too much orange, you can just add some more red to it. And now we're going to let that float around. I'm actually going to lift some of that so that it doesn't take over the world. Now we'll let it float and we'll have this area in the middle. And same thing with this. Now you want some pretty thick paint to overcome the green to put some of these dots on. So see what a big bubble that's making. And I'm making a blue pot. I'm mixing the two colors together, and I'm just doing the star in a simple cross, starting with a cross and then going diagonally on top of that. And there we have a little card. Let's take the tape off and see. We have a very simple card. If you've enjoyed this so far, I would love to hear from you. Subscribe, like, send me a note. I'd love to hear about your Christmas card experience. All right, let's go on to this one. Now we need to paint the top, and I'm going to make it as if it's a gold top. You know, some of them are silver. What color should we make that string? Would it be too odd to have it be blue? Green, I mean? Let's try it. I'm going to make that string out of marker. These are fine line pens. Everything that I used today you can find in the comments. And so this will be there too. But this will be easier with marker, and that little loop thing would have been easier with marker too. And we're going to put a simple bow. Let's take the tape off. You could put some greens on here if you want to, but I think that I like it just like it is, very simple. And this one's my favorite. I'm excited about this. And we can use markers for this one too. Now, when I use markers for something like this, I practice on a little piece of paper because you just don't really know what color you're getting. Yeah, see, that's too light. That'll probably work. I'm gonna make some branches that are kind of had kinks in them. And then this part's really fun. I'm going to take this eraser out of my pencil and use this. You can tell I've done it before. And I'm just going to put it in that orange red and put balls wherever I want them. Balls. Now they got kind of evenly spaced, and that's always not the best, so I'm gonna add some to make them look like they're more in groupings. Okay, now you don't have to do this. You can stop right there. And if you want to, you can paint these brushes on. But right now, I'm going to take some alizarin crimson and I'm just going to put a touch of it on these to make this look more 3D. Now I'm going to dip my brush and soften that on each of those, so that it's not just a blob. And there you have berries. And a very easy card. Let's take the tape off. And there we go. 3 little cards. You can sign your name and send them to your friends.